Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Niki Lopez of Niki Lopez Creative, and you're watching The Circle, where every Tuesday, 8:30 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm talking to artists, activists, creative entrepreneurs, and people doing great things in the world today. And today I have a very special guest and friend. I have Iyanifa Yoruba priest, Ifawuyi
Esuloju Eyioriwaase.
Eyioriwaase.
I know that last one. Always gets everybody. That last one.
Yes. So I thank you all for joining in. I see G there, Derek, Mom. I see some people, all things natural for life. Thank you for joining us. And so, we're wrapping up. This is February's Black History Month, and I thought it would be a great honor to have the last episode be about, cultural spirituality, the Yoruba culture. And so I'm just going to read a couple things because you do a lot of stuff. So Iyanifa Ifawuyi, she's a Yoruba priestess, a holistic counselor, and the CEO of Spiritual Essence Inc., and as well as the founder of Egbe Festival. So I see here that you've been practicing spiritual culture for over 3 decades.
Yes.
Teaching holistic medicine through plants, crystals, and I saw that you started really young. What was your start to that?
Well, starting really young means that you were a weird child. A different child, an unexplained child with unexplained abilities. Mm-hmm. So in enlightening yourself and not thinking that you're weird or anything like that, you want to find something that will ground you and give you foundation. Mm-hmm. And that's what I found in spirituality from young, because I've always been the outcast or the black sheep or the one that just doesn't fit in anywhere. Mm-hmm. And I like it.
Interesting. And so do you consider it a culture, a religion? Like, what do you consider?
Well, it's Yoruba culture is a culture. It's a practice. It's a way of life. Yes, it's a way of life, but it can also be considered a religion, for the simple fact that people practice it in many different ways as a religion, because Yoruba culture gave birth to candomblé, it gave birth to lukumi or santeria, it gave birth to voodoo, and so many different other spiritual aspects that's been misunderstood around the world.
And so that was my connection to, learning more. I know there's a whole lot to learn, but also to have you on, because I think my perception is that a lot of people of color have a negative connotation about Yoruba culture. If you say Santeria, voodoo, all those things, some people don't even know that those religions stem from the original Yoruba culture.
Right. And I want to take people back in history. Now, when slaves were taken, they were taught that their culture is bad, it's evil, you can't practice it. So they had to hide to practice their culture. And that, when you have young children that don't understand what's going on, and you're covering something and being fed something else, they're going to go with what they see. And that's where the misconnotation came from, and the misunderstanding of what it is that we should practice. Because spirituality is the empowerment of self. When you can empower yourself spiritually, you have gone very far. But in the time of slavery, we weren't taught to empower ourselves. We are taught something else, and it makes you feel less than who you are. And that's what they wanted to keep in the mind washing of melanated people.
And I'm just going to take a moment. I see Lovrithis, Aseyo. I see people coming in. We have Deborah Kerr saying hello. Quite a few people saying hello. For people who may not know anything, they've only heard the name Yoruba. How do you describe it?
Well, Yoruba is a way of life. It's a people. Yoruba is a language. It's a people. It's a tradition. So if I was supposed to describe Yoruba in a word that everyone would understand, I would say it's the culture of our source.
Okay. And so I know sometimes, like, some people may not know, I do kind of briefly hint on it. Some of my artwork is actually referencing some of the orishas. I constantly, because I like talking about things that are not spoken about, because I want people to say, what is Olokun? What is Yamaya? And go look it up. And as well as while I'm learning more about it, that's another way for me to share. What are the orishas? Like, how do you explain that to people who may not be familiar with?
I love that question. Orisha is the aspects of nature. And a lot of people don't describe Orisha like that, but for someone that has never heard of Orisha or never understood the energy of it, Orisha is the aspects of all nature. Every Orisha comes from an aspect of nature. Is it the wind? The wind is considered to be Oya. Fire, heat is considered to have the energy of Shango. So many people don't understand that to have a oneness with nature is to have a oneness with Orisha. Because when people say, oh, I believe in God, I worship God, they really don't know what God looks like. But the encompass of where we are, the earth, is God. So when you abuse anything that God created, when you rip down a tree, when you pollute water, when you defile the ground, you're offending God, because these are all energies of Orisha. And so if you respect what God gives you in unison, then you too will get a power that most people won't understand, because there's some people that could command nature. If it's raining, we can command rain to stop. If it's too windy, we can ask the wind to slow down or just calm. We can ask rough waves to calm or get rough to let us know that they hear us. So that's how I would explain it.
Awesome. And I have a comment from G. She said, I was in Cuba and they're so open to Santeria, but in Jamaica, Obia is so hidden and mostly taboo still.
Well, it's a mindset of people, like I said, because people have been programmed to mostly think that spiritual energy is bad. I'll give you an example. I was washing my car one day. I was cleaning my car spiritually. And this particular gentleman would come out and see me cleaning my car, and he'll be like, oh, that's so good. A girl that cleans her car. And I was like, thank you. And then I took some herbs and he was like, oh my God, you're doing roots. And he just ran inside. I was like, what? But that's how you know that plants, we can drink plants, we can bath with plants, we can clean with plants. But when somebody sees you using it in a unique way, you're doing something bad, which I'm still trying to figure that out.
Yeah, somewhere along the line, respecting nature and prayer and all that kind of got intertwined, and like, oh, that's magic. That's
Exactly. Because self-empowerment is not what is mostly wanted or taught. A lot of people don't want you to be able to empower yourself.
And then I have a comment from Olivia. It says, we have been programmed to believe in religion.
Yes. And that's the biggest separator of man is religion. Because religion and politics, but religion is one of the biggest separators, because you're taught, because you're Muslim, you can't get along with Christian, and you're Christian, you can't get along with a spiritualist, or you can't, which is ridiculous. If everybody lined up from every race, color, and creed, and I cut you, all of you would bleed. And that's how you know, no matter what you're practicing, you're all human beings.
And we have a question from Valerie off of Instagram. I have issues with my nephew who thinks I'm doing the work of the devil. How do you handle that type of thinking?
Well, how old is your nephew? Number one, the age of your nephew makes a difference, because it's how you would explain to him or have him experience. Because let me tell you, growing up, None of my family understood me. None. Nowhere, no how. I was completely strange. And then they called me all kind of devil worshiper, all kind of voodoo priestess, voodoo queen, this, that, and the other. And now those same people are the ones that come for me to give them assistance. So my saying is always, ridicule comes before respect. Because what people don't understand, they will ridicule. But once you are making something or making waves, they're the first one on your bandwagon saying, oh, remember, I supported you from the beginning, even though they weren't there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she said 2 of them, 22 and 17.
They're at good ages, actually. They're at very good ages for learning. So it's your job, if you want to mold their minds to develop themselves spiritually, this is the time where you need to sit down and begin to, instead of making them think the connotation of, oh, it's devil worship, because a lot of people tend to do this with their children. Oh, they're too young. If I'm practicing spirituality, they're too young. I can't really involve my child in this. Why? When you could take your baby to church, you could take your baby to mosque, why wouldn't you take your child to learn spirituality, to develop themselves from birth? We have things where we have ceremonies where we know what type of child we're having, how we will name the child, what that child will do. And if the child is not coming with a good head or good energy, we know what to do to help to enhance. Like, for example, I always say you give birth to a child, and we'd have something called Esentaye, the birth reading, the naming ceremony of the child, right? Mm-hmm. And you said, the reading came out, say, oh, this child is going to be a liar, a thief, a swindler. Instead of focusing on that, oh, this child is going to be so bad, let's use those attributes that child will have. Instead of taking it negatively, let's work on getting that child to be a politician. They're normal liars, they're normal thieves, they're normal everything, but they make money doing it. Mm-hmm. And they are progressive. They are looked at as somebody respectable in the community. Am I right? So instead of focusing on how not to make somebody successful, we start from early, so we can train or manipulate an energy to help enhance and uplift the child.
And I see a question from Love Ruthie. Oh, Ruthie. Okay.
Love Ruthie.
Yes. Culture of our source, Asheo. Can you speak more on the source and how Yoruba and all cultures are life connections to the source?
Wow, that's a good question.
Yes.
So source is basically your foundation, where you come from. And source is decades and decades and decades, not even decades, but centuries of tradition. So when we have families that's been practicing tradition for centuries of bloodline, it is our source. Because before there were written books, there were verbal teachings where people had to memorize everything they learned. It wasn't written, it wasn't, you couldn't jot it down and practice it. You had to learn it from your mind. Mm-hmm. And that exercised the mind. And so it's an oral tradition that's passed down. And with that, you are taught who you are, where you come from, and what abilities you have, and how you should uplift yourself and your family lineage. Because nowadays, people don't care about their family lineage. They don't care about where they come from, what their family did, and how they should enhance it with each generation. Now it's like they do whatever, they don't care, they don't respect their parents. All of this is problem. So the source of the Yoruba culture and where source comes from is the teaching of centuries of knowledge, orally, traditionally passed down generation through generation.
Awesome. I see some hearts on Instagram. The other part that I don't think that people are aware of, because a lot of times when people hear Yoruba and they think, magic, spirituality, but a lot of it is connected to counseling.
Correct.
And helping people when when they're having issues at home, with their children, with their spouse. So you do a lot of counseling in the community.
Yes. And like I said, with traditional culture, you're taught about who you are spiritually, your inner you. Now, we have something called the Ori, And for the ones who watch me in the morning, I send out a prayer every morning, no matter how I'm feeling, no matter what I'm going through, no matter what I look like, no matter what's in the background. I'm going to pray and give a message of the day, depending on what energy of the day it is. So what counseling and spirituality does, it uplifts the person to know deeply who they are. So you can't be manipulated by something if you believe something else. Like, okay, for instance, you have a child and you've always told that child, you're beautiful, you're exquisite, you're wonderful, you're amazing. When that child reaches a certain age, nobody can tell that child that they're not exquisite, that they're not beautiful, that they're not amazing. And if anybody does, they'll be like, I've already been taught who I am, so I don't need that. But if you have a child and you've always tell them, oh, you're stupid, you're not going to be anything, this is what the child will believe, regardless if they're saying it or not. Their actions will prove that way. So a lot of times we have to know that instilling certain behavior in children, in ourselves, because we even do it to ourselves. How society has us bombarding ourselves is a lot. So you're taught, oh, I'm not skinny enough. Oh, I'm too fat. Oh, I need my stomach sucked in. I need my waist done. I need a waist trainer. I need a breast lift. You don't need anything. You only need someone that will love you naturally for who you are and love yourself more than anyone will love you. And that's all you need, because any way that you're created, you're perfect.
I have Kat. She's an artist. She said, I've been told to reach out to you from Ruth years ago.
So what stopped you, Kat? What happened? Meow. I'm here, Kat.
Katiana, yeah. That's funny. Oh, Barbara was saying, good point. She's on. People are definitely resonate with what you're saying. What's something that people may not be aware that's connected to Yoruba culture? Because I know there's some things that people already know. What is something that you feel people may not know but should know?
Okay, so I have a lot of questions, or people question me a lot about sacrifice. Now, I'm going to touch on that because that's a very touchy topic, right? But everything you do in life is a sacrifice. Okay, let me give you an example. Now, if you're going to college, you want to become a lawyer, that's a lot of school. It's a lot of sacrifice. You're sacrificing your time, your friends. Anyway, successful lawyers. We're not talking about the dropouts. You are putting all your energy into what you're doing, right? So it's a sacrifice. And when you get out of school, you're in debt like crazy. And then you start working possibly, or start your own firm or whatever, but it's a sacrifice. And then you start reaping from what you sowed. But it's not easy. So everything you do, every promise you make, everything requires a sacrifice. So if you're going through something, the one thing with Yoruba culture that's different than anywhere else, if you have any problem, there's a solution for it. It may come in a strange way, or it may come in a normal way to you, but there is always a solution. And some things are more unique than others. So sacrifice is done by heart, sometimes physically, and sometimes requires an item or something else. So, I mean, people can ask me any questions on sacrifice. I'm open right now. Let the phones ring, let the questions fall. I don't know how we do it, but however you got to ask me, this is the time.
Absolutely. Oh, gee, I guess she said, yes, my parents always told me I'm beautiful and brilliant. You could probably tell. And go on, big up the lawyer then.
Big up.
So Nicole, she's saying hello, Jasmine. So Katiana says, I've grown up hearing practicing spirituality is what brings about misfortune. The Haitian community I've grown up, it only promotes religion within the church.
Again, remember, back in those days, people weren't allowed to practice spirituality to its truest form. It was hidden, and it had to be hidden underneath the church, mostly the Catholic Church. So every time you wanted to worship an energy or a deity, okay, like the Haitian people have Shango Balenjo, I think, right? And so to practice Shango, to practice anything, you had to hide it. And remember, Haitian people are so strong because they, the revolt happened through Haiti, everything where they took their lives back because of spirit, because of their voodoo, not because they were in the Catholic Church kneeling down, doing 10 Hail Marys and having the blood of Jesus and drinking his flesh.
Yeah.
Which is just bread to give you cholesterol.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the interesting thing, there's a negative connotation with people of the Yoruba culture doing blood sacrifices, but the Hebrews that do it, that's where the circumcision comes from.
It's so funny because Hebrew people during their time, they do animal sacrifices. They sacrifice a lamb. They sacrifice many. If you go there, they're gonna clean you with some roosters or chickens or whatever. They're gonna clean you with it from head to toe. All the Jews are there getting cleaned. This is the old time practice. So a lot of times, remember, back in the Old Testament, it used to be animal sacrifice, right? But they rewrote the Bible so much, they created the New Testament, King James Version. I won't even talk about that. I don't want to offend anybody. So now, in one part of that animal sacrifice where the blood of the lamb had to be put on the door for the firstborn child not to die. Mm-hmm. So if this was modern times now and you tell the majority, there's going to be a bad plague coming in, a bad plague, like the coronavirus, say it's running rampant through America right now and you got to put the blood of a lamb on the door so you and your family don't get it. You'd be surprised how many people, Christian, Muslim, and everybody that will do it. Because when God is working, it's a miracle. And sometimes blood is life, and sometimes blood is required to get things done. It's as simple as that.
Mm-hmm. So we have here, Cynthia said, yes, I have the word sacrifice tattooed on me. I sacrifice for a lot of things I want, especially for my kids. Absolutely.
I want to say, Cynthia, that's Cynthia?
Yeah.
Cynthia, let me tell you something about kids. Kids are baby goats. You have children. Children are something to aspire to greatness. Kids are stubborn goats that eat anything and run anywhere and don't listen. So no longer call your children kids. Mm-hmm. Love you.
Okay, so I have a comment and a question. So Katiana said, and that's what some say is the reason for the continued struggles of Haiti, the voodoo that took place for the revolution.
And I beg to differ. I completely disagree with you. The reason why Haiti continues to struggle or suffer is because Haiti has never bowed down to America, the French, the white man, or anybody. And so they are constantly targeted, and believe it or not, any storm that's there is man-made. They have a machine that they can manipulate nature. You would be surprised. And Haiti did not deserve anything it got, but they want to continuously punish Haiti for being so strong. Mm-hmm. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah. I read somewhere where they said France demanded Haiti pay back the money that they would have made to have them enslaved, and if they were to have that today, they'd be one of the richest nations. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I have a question from Kaola, and I know she's been wanting to connect with you. How do you determine the distinction between what is good and bad when either can fall on either side of the battle?
Okay, now.
Either side of the line.
I understand your question perfectly, and I will say that's discernment, because in every good there's a bad, right? And in every bad there's a good. So some people could be very good spiritually and may be a bad person. Some people may be a bad person or some people may be a good person and not really good spiritually. So this is all discernment. When you know a person's character and who they are and they walk upright and live up to what they say and do. I've been living spirituality since as long as I could remember. When I was 2 years old, I told my mom that, listen, I'm different. and I'm going to stay different. She didn't believe me. Now, when I turned 33, my mom was like, you really are different. You are a different breed, a different child. And I just want to tell you, I respect you. So it's got to be your walk. It's got to be what you love, who you are, your essence. So you'll meet some bad people. And I'll tell you, even in Ifa practice, in the Yoruba culture, it will say, Ifa's word says, out of 2,000 babalawos, you might meet one good one. You might. Just like out of 1,000,000 priests, you might meet one really good one. There is so much corruption in the world now. You can't assume how a person is. I always tell all my students, listen, if I'm teaching you something and I offend you, take the good that I give you and poop out the rest. Because it's only the lesson that you have to learn to grow from. You don't have to watch what else is happening. Watch what you're getting. Watch what you're learning from and grow from it. The you that you're supposed to be is a blessing for yourself, for your growth, for who you are. So that's how I will answer that question.
And I see Pink Elephant Auction says, bless you, sending love and peace.
Ashe.
And then Ruth says, our Asian ancestors are so powerful. Absolutely, absolutely. So let me see what else here. I thought I saw, oh, okay. Oliver was replying to Katian, independence was gained by believing in themselves. Voodoo assisted them because they were able to use the energies of the universe to assist them in the battle.
Ashe.
Yeah. How important, because I know that you corrected someone when they said kid and said children. How important is words?
Very important. I have one student, she's my butterflies and flower child, right? And she always used to say, she always said, Iya, you always said every word that you say is a prayer. So when I get angry and I say something, she'll say, Iya, don't say that because that's a bad prayer. And that's a good reminding because even the greatest people need reminding of who they are. And we are not perfect. We make mistakes. So sometimes even not knowing, like I will look in the mirror and be like, oh my God, I'm so fat today. That's not a good prayer. You know, I should look in the mirror every day and say, wow, you're beautiful, you're exquisite, you're gorgeous, everybody wants you. I don't know about that part, but still, you know, I should. And so should everyone else, you know, because everything you say is a prayer for yourself. So when you say, I'm broke, you know what it is to be broke? You could drop a glass and it's the shortening of broken, right? So when something is broken, usually you throw it away. There's some things that are broken that you can mend. But when you are broke, say you don't, the people say, oh, I said I'm broke because I don't have any money. But you shouldn't say you're broke. You should say I've temporarily depleted my funds or I'm low on funds right now. Because you don't want that to be your permanent situation.
Yes, and I know the secret talk. There's a lot of cultures that talks about the same things.
The secret is designed from the universe. Yoruba is a universal energy. Like I tell you, it's all about the earth. Everything that has to do with the earth is a part of Yoruba culture.
And I see IB Genuine is asking, where's your what's your Instagram?
My Instagram is Ifawuyi, which is IFAWUYI Esuloju ESULOJU. I don't know, maybe she could put it on the screen. You know, she know how to do all that technical stuff.
Yes. So we have Natalie who's working remotely. Thank you always, Natalie, for helping. She's going to put those links in.
Yes, Natalie.
Yes. So on the Instagram, if you're on Instagram, if you click the image, you could connect to her there as well. On Facebook, we'll have the link.
Guys, I got to fix my gaily. Hold on.
So G said, yes, words are so important. I think we should all work to say enslaved Africans and not refer to our ancestors as slaves. Yes, I know that people have been saying that. And Katiana is asking, how can people get in touch with you?
Well, you can get in touch with me on my IG, which they're going to put on the screen, and my Facebook. I don't know if should I give my number?
You don't have.
You know, my IG is good, girls. Just send me a message on IG. I don't know. This is social media. You know.
Yes. So, okay, so I want to also spend a little time because a couple of years ago you started the Egbe Festival.
Yes.
What is the Egbe Festival?
So the Egbe Festival is our community ancestral baby. All right, so who is not feeling like Egbe for me? But okay, so one day I went to sleep and I woke up and I got this eureka moment, you know. I went to pray to my shrine and they were like, listen, you have to start educating people on culture. Okay, it started out where I was in Africa for like 4 or 5 months and I came back and one of my lawyer friends, shout out to the lawyers, said, Iya, how is it sleeping in a tree? I was like, wait a minute, I'm confused about the question. Sleeping in a tree, I don't get it. She was like, yeah, you know, in Africa, I hear y'all sleep in a tree. I was like, well, it was very comfortable. I took the leaves and fluffed them up on one side. You know, I was being sarcastic. But she was really serious. And I had to really take it as, she's serious, you know? So I told her, I said, sweetheart, if you see the houses in Africa, middle income people make their houses look like mansions compared to here, you understand? And they own it. And you know, if they miss a payment, there is no miss a payment. They own it. They buy it outright, build it from top to bottom. And it's beautiful. And you would be surprised to see what Africa really looks like. Now, the media focuses on big belly children and flies and the most poverty. But if you go downtown Miami, you know, and focus on the people that's homeless out underneath the bridge, it will look the same way. So if you're focusing on this poorest part of the country, how can you show what the beauty is? Africa is beautiful. And people have asked me, oh, what is it like being chased by tigers when you go outside? I would be like, I'm dead because I can't run that. I failed PE, you know? Come on. So then when I was in front of my shrine, they was like, you have to educate people that never traveled from Dade or Broward or, you know, never got on a plane to go 14, 15, 17, 20 hours to Africa. Bring Africa to them. And I said, okay. So I thought it would be small. But the more it kept building, it turned out to be at historic Virginia Key Beach, which is a very important spot. During slavery times, it was the only place that our melanated brothers and sisters, fathers and mothers, uncles and aunts could swim. And a lot of people don't even know that. So when Egbe chose that place, I was like, wow. First, I was very ignorant. I was like, oh my God, I can't have Egbe Festival in Virginia because it's off historic Virginia Key Beach. So I was like, I got to go to Virginia. They were like, no, it's in Miami. And when I went there, the energy of the ancestors were there so prominent. I was like, oh, this is it. And we built from there. And we continued. And every year, it's not easy. And I struggle. And all my team struggle with me to make Egbe Festival happen. And believe me, it's not easy. I have sleepless nights, eatless days, but we make it happen because I'm on a mission. We're on a mission to educate people that we don't come from slaves. We come from kings and queens. We come from royal blood. We come from royalty of mind. We come from even simple people are great who we come from. So that's what we're doing. And that's how Egbe Festival started, and that's how it will continue. And we need support. So if you want to support Egbe Festival, go to egbefestival.com, shoot us an email, let us know. We always need help.
Absolutely. And Egbe Festival just ended, so it's every February, right?
It's the first week in February, Black History Month. Because too, you get to wear your African garbs. You know, we choose an Ankara, which is a print, an African print every year. It'll be different. To make you still feel, you know, you can modernize your style, but still in the Ankara print, so you could feel like you are a part of Africa when you walk through the entrance of Egbe Festival.
And Ruth is saying, and August 1st?
Oh, August 1st is the 75th anniversary for historic Virginia Key Beach, and they asked us to build a small Egbe Festival in commemoration as one of the events going on at the beach.
And I see Valerie say got to come next year. And I said, last year I attended part of the festival, and I love that where, you know, everyone had a different way of expressing that African garb. So some people had the African fabric that they made African garbs. You saw some people did a modern twist, tie
exactly.
everything.
Yeah, we had some girls in some little shorts too, honey, with their little African print. I was like, oh, shut up now, do it. You know, so it's good expression. And as Egbe Festival grows, I would like to reward a person with the most creative Ankara. You know, I want to make it where they can look and say, oh, I'm giving $1,000 away for the best dressed Ankara. You know, we're growing to that level. We're working on it.
Ruth said it would be great to host this show at the festival. Yeah, that's an idea. Yeah, absolutely. So you have the festival, you have the community coming out to show their talents, you have vendors.
Yes.
So people could try different foods, and it's all multicultural.
Yes, it's multicultural because we are so diverse melanatedly. So we want everyone to attend, and you don't have to feel like, it's only African people are gonna be there, or it's so many. I have people from Germany fly out to Egbe Festival, from London fly out to Egbe Festival, from Africa that come to Egbe Festival. It's not just like one place. Europe, everywhere. We want people to have an experience. To have an experience, and it's gonna go deeper every year. Every year it's gonna go deeper. I keep saying 2021 will be the first year that we have a real village. So when you walk in, it's gonna be like an old school African village where you just get down and dirty.
And I see Valerie said this year, August. So Egbe Festival is annually in first week of February.
Yes.
However, the Virginia Key Beach is inviting Egbe Festival to have like a small version.
Right, because of
their festival, in their 75th anniversary.
75th anniversary.
So
correct.
August, if you're around.
Come to August, come and see. It'll be great. The village will start there.
Yes.
We'll start there. Yeah.
Absolutely. What else to do?
And I want to say that Egbe Festival is for all ages. We have a children's village. We call it the Ewe Abule. And it's for the children. Now, all the children are free. That's one thing with Egbe Festival. We love children. We love to make them have fun. We teach them. We provide for them. They paint their faces. They paint the walls. They learn how to play the drums. They run on the bounce houses. I'm trying to get a safari going. Well, we're going to start off with a petting zoo, but it's going to be a safari. Let's use our imagination. You know, so we're building. And I really want the community to build with me, because it's been like a 4-man show, a 1-man show, and a 4-man show, which is just 4 women. And we need help. We need more assistance. We need more support, you know, and we've tried, and we're going to continue to try, but we won't fail.
Absolutely. Oh, Valerie is so grateful to both of you. Grateful for you too. Thank you for being here. I was going to ask, and we have Alana, who's actually, you know, from Creative Uprisings, part of our in-house studio.
In-house studio people.
Yes. For those who do not know, could you please explain what Egbe means?
Oh, that's a good one. Thank you, Alana. So Egbe is your heavenly mates. Okay, this is the way I'll explain it. It's like your fraternity in heaven, right? That never left you. So you are the leader of this fraternity, and all your groups say, oh, you know, Alana, we're going to send you to Earth, right? You get to go to Earth. You say, okay, I'm going to go to Earth. I don't want to go. Yes, you got to go. But when you go, remember, you have to do this, this, and this. And never forget us, because we are always with you, right? So just like how you pledge fraternity in college, and you know you get that job and you're not qualified, but you're going to call your fraternity brother who may be the manager that's going to bump out the qualified person to put you in, and you're wondering how you got the job Because your fraternity is always looking out for you. So your Egbe is your heavenly tribe, your heavenly fraternity, your heavenly peers, your heavenly mates.
Okay.
That's the meaning of Egbe.
So 2 questions. Why is it important, in your opinion, for people of the diaspora to connect back to their roots and their culture through the Yoruba culture?
Because, if you have a stem or if you have a root, and you want your plant to grow very well, you will have to nurture that root, right? For the bark to be strong, the leaves to be healthy, for the stems and everything to be well, for the branches to be firm, you have to nurture the root. So if we know the roots and we've been taken from our soil, as we need to go back to the soil that will nurture the root. So that's my answer, because anytime you have something that's you're from and you don't know it, you're lost. Like if you have a child and they don't know their father, they'll always be asking you, why I don't have a father? Where's my father? What makes me different? Why don't I have one? They're gonna always ask, and it's gonna lead to some deficiency in their relationship as they get older. So that's why any source that belongs to you, you have to want to find out where it comes from, where that light in you comes from, where that grace in you comes from, where that power in you comes from. And without finding it, you are lost. That's why you could be programmed to any way that anybody wants you, because the mind is the stimulus to your power.
And what's your connection? Like, what keeps you so driven, so passionate?
I'm weird. I told all my Egbe, I told all my Egbe group, I said, if I deserved anything from Egbe Festival, now I'm not proud or anything like that, but I always say I deserve the Faith Without Wavering award. Because they know what I'm talking about. When we are going to do this festival, it's like miracles happen from out of nowhere, and only a person that's faithful can see it through. Because a lot of times they'll tell me, oh, we need to cancel this, we can't do it, it's not possible, we don't see. But I said, they told me that it will be done. So I don't know how it's gonna happen. If birds gotta fly,
And how do you how does someone have faith or keep faith or connect to faith when there's so many challenges going on in life and whatever?
Well, that's a good question, but again, that's also self-driven. Because if you know within yourself that you have power, and this is what I'm saying about the source and the root. If you know within yourself that you are powerful, you can go outside and talk to the air and it hears you. You can go outside and talk to water and it hears you. You can do anything. You will believe that whatever you know, it will manifest. And it's just on self-belief and spiritual strength. Because if you don't believe in you, nobody else will. I always say I'm like Noah building the ark. People always say, oh, Noah was crazy. Lord, that boy don't know nothing. That man, that albino, he doesn't know anything, but he's building the ark. It never rained. He's building the ark for rain. He's collecting 2 of each animal. Oh my God, this man is crazy. But when it started raining and not stop, everybody was knocking on the door. But it was too late to open it. So I always say, whenever I'm doing something, I'm like Noah. Nobody ever believes in anything I'm doing until they see it. And then when they see it, it's like, oh, remember I was the one that was carrying the piece of wood for you to put that last plank on the ark. So it's like that. It's everything that you do when it comes to faith is self-driven.
What is a step that someone who is not familiar with the Yoruba culture but would like to get connected to that, what's the first step that you would recommend them doing?
The first step is to find a good priestess. I'm right here. Number 1. And then it would be to get a reading. A reading will give you a map, like like a GPS of where you need to go. Now, a lot of people believe that, oh, when they come and get a reading, all the reading will say you have to be a priestess. No, not everybody is designed to be a priestess. But in today's society, people sell priesthood, that's a whole other topic. That's a whole other show, but knowing who you are and what your abilities are and what you're destined to do is important. So with readings, it will clear up a lot of your loose ends. It will give you taboos. Now, a lot of people indulge in their taboos because they don't know what they are. There are some people who have spirits that you can't eat certain things because it offends that spirit. You understand? And they don't know, so they're constantly doing it and wondering why my life won't move forward, when it's as simple as maybe you shouldn't eat shellfish because your spirit doesn't like it. But you love it, but you don't know. And every time you eat it, it sets back a progress that's supposed to happen for you, but you don't know. So a reading makes everything clear for a person that wants to move forward in life.
We have a question from Kaula. Do you suggest that with no access to an obvious source might always be without root?
Say it again.
Do you suggest that with no access to an obvious source might always be without root? No access to an obvious, I guess when you were talking about roots?
Well, I'm saying that's a good question somewhat, to saying that if you don't have access to your root, you don't really have a source. No, I'm saying that you have to learn your source. Like why it's important to know where you come from. It's the development of your strength. People who don't know where they belong tend to be more broken and lost and wanting and craving to fit in somewhere. It's natural, even in the animal kingdom. If a chicken is raised with ducks, after a while he's going to wonder, why do I look like that? So it's important to develop and find your source. That's why some people can just meditate and find themselves spiritually, and it's nothing wrong with that. Once you're empowering your spirit and you know who you are, remember, you got to stand for something, because if you don't stand for something, you fall for anything.
Absolutely. So we have, wrapping up, a couple of comments. Oliver said, we love you. And Katiana said, it's been a pleasure listening to you. Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you all. Thank you. Y'all are making me blush. I don't even wear makeup, but it looks a little cheeky right here, right?
Yeah. So I know we're going a little bit over, but definitely if you want to find out more, connect to her on Instagram. Here on Facebook. Egbe Festival is also on Instagram and Facebook. And find out more. Ruth has a lot of hearts going on here. Absolutely. So before I wrap up, I always ask everyone, I'm interested to see what your answer is. If you had access to a time machine, where would you go and why? Past, present, future.
Well, if I had access to a time machine, I would go way, way, way back, because I believe that I'm one of the earth bearers, So I would go back to my beginning, way, way, way back. I believed I lived millions of years ago. I told you I'm very unique in my thoughts, or in my process, or in my beliefs. So I would go way back and watch the earth develop again.
That's an interesting.
Yeah.
I knew you had a good one. Oh, we have Barbara said, love the energy of this podcast. Excellent guest. Katiana said she'll be in touch. I'm so glad Niki interviewed you. Absolutely. And we have Valerie. She said it's been such so amazing. Absolutely. So we've gone a little bit over, but it's a lot of information. Thank you so much to everyone who's watching live under Niki Lopez Creative, as well on Instagram. I have Niki Lopez 19 and Niki Lopez Creative on Instagram. It's only there for 24 hours. So if you want to watch the whole thing, you got to go to Facebook, Niki Lopez Creative, and it will be in the video section. So please, every week I ask you all, share this, tag this, like this, comment. Someone wants that information, and you could be an inspiration to someone getting on their spiritual journey. Oh, hello, Miss Sylvia. Thank you. We're just wrapping up. Definitely go watch it. It was a very illuminating episode.
It's my pleasure.
Yes,
I really love talking about what I love.
Clearly ready, amazing.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
absolutely.
life.
Absolutely. Oh, well, okay, so I was she was Kaula responding to the conversation around one who may not know their father or mother. The brain moves faster than the fingers. Thanks for the answer. What a pleasure. Absolutely. So again, if you like the video, please like it, please share it, please tag people. Slide it into someone's DM. Someone wants this information, and you could be the source of that inspiration. And I will see you all next week.
Bye.